Hi, welcome back. Shit, I'm a little too close. Well, to my 14 subs and maybe, family members because I intend on sharing this on Facebook for once. Welcome to my potentially new series. Might or might not be successful. However, what I intend to do here is I intend on sharing some of my D&D stories. Hopefully chronologically. Few of them might be little tangent stories, whatever. However, I intend on sharing them chronologically as so that way either my friends who were with me at the time, part of my party members, or you guys are at least able to just kind of follow along into the past campaigns that I've played. So, let's get into this. We would begin with the first character that I ever ended up really playing. And this character was originally an NPC who one of my friends, his name's Gage, he created. He was supposed to be, I believe, like a blade singer or something like that. But I took a feat called, I believe, Shield Master. And this was little me, like straight out of middle school, early freshman year me, just trying to get into D&D, just to really kind of socialize, find a friend group, see what everything was about. So I ended up doing that. I took that feat and I was like, okay, this is going to be neat. So does this mean I can use shields as my weapons? Long story short, that character ended up in the middle of a battle with a tower shield on his back in basically a TP of shields and never made it out of there. Second character that's actually memorable that I believe I created this time around. I forget his name at the moment, but he was a Goliath barbarian. He had an intelligence of 9, and I remember the whole campaign, I just wanted that 10 intelligence so that way I didn't have a negative modifier. Well, the whole thing was, my friend, he... it was back when Critical Role was new. And, of course, if you're watching this, you're probably a friend of Geek and Sundry, or maybe you're just a friend of mine and you might not even know anything about them. However, essentially what they do is they are voice actors who play D&D, and my friend is really interested in Critical Role, and thus he introduces their characters into our world, and we have to kind of try and go on this quest with them. Okay, neat concept, wonderful. I ended up derailing the whole campaign. So initially, my character was kind of, pretty decent. Decent fighter, decent barbarian, whatever. But I had the issue with 9 intelligence. I didn't grasp the concept at that time that 9 wasn't exactly bad, it was just still a negative modifier. So, we're going through, and I remember this time where we actually basically first meet up with the group. And for those of you who may be watching this who don't know who the group is, Vexalia, Vaxeldine, Scanlan, Grog, what's his name? I believe... I can't remember. Can't remember the other two at the moment. But one of them's a Dragonborn, and one is... I think I'm forgetting... I'm forgetting someone, and that sucks. Anyway, we end up meeting them at this nice dinner. And Grog this has this belt and knuckles of, I believe, cloud giant strength. Like the belt was of it was like dwarven strength or something like that, so you get like +3. If you don't know what that means, that essentially means on a normal strength check is what it's called, i.e. a heavy weapon, a normal punch, stuff like that, you get a +3 modifier to it on top of whatever else you normally had. Well, I noticed that he has these things. My character is basically a fan because, me personally, I'm a fan of the show, so I kind of made it that my character's a little bit of a fan, heard of what he's done for this realm, and I challenged him. I was like, "Hey, let's have a duel in the courtyard." And he goes, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go for it." Um, and so we go out to the courtyard and we start dueling, and he ends up kicking my ass. I ended up dropping down to like 2 HP after he fucking like punted me into a wall. It was so funny. I landed some good hits in, but I probably came nowhere near to winning that time. um, then we headed off. We were with the Critical Role. Vox Machina was their uh, was their group at the time. We were with Vox Machina, and Vox and Vax. Um, and we were chilling, going through some stuff, doing little side quests, yada yada yada. But we found this little tear, and it was rumored that this tear was supposed to go to the Nine Hells. Well, my character was kind of, you know, boasting, bragging, shit like that. He was like, "Oh, I could take on the Nine. I want to conquer the Nine." And hearing this, my character doesn't like peeked in, saw that it was just like an abyss below, and didn't hesitate after and just jumped in. So we ended up falling, and we lost track of Vox Machina. They ended up going their separate way. They didn't follow us. Um, but I went. I think most of the party except one followed. So we lost a party member. However, we gained. We found this imp immediately. And this imp was really chill. Because of me, the DM had to make up his name on the spot. So he ended up calling him Thom. Thom ended up being my character's like best friend until the campaign came to an abrupt end. Thom ended up with player levels. He ended up being an NPC that fought with us. He ended up being a mystic. But we went through, and we went through the first layer, and we ended up coming across Tiamat's lair. And because of me being a barbarian, and at level, I believe, 11 or 12, roughly, at the time, I want to say somewhere about there, I had the like resistance to fear checks. So while I was raging and shit like that, so I was basically immune to the fear that, Tiamat has. So I was like, well, everybody else in the party failed. I stepped forward and was like, "Tiamat, you little shit." And this character tried to stay back and let the whole party go. And then I had a little mental encounter with her as she basically allowed us to pass, proceeding onto the second plane. I essentially said to Tiamat, I would have stayed behind if you had tried anything, correct? And she said, I know. So we proceed on. We go through, I believe, a demonic city on the second plane. Pass through, like, the Tundric lair on the third. Then we end up coming across a, like, ghost ship. It was really lit. But when we get towards the fourth and fifth, things got kind of crazy because we started coming across abyssals and stuff. We started coming across ice devils, things like that. And it was really cool, but it was really odd. The campaign ended up shortly with one of the party members using a necromancy spell because he saw a whole ton of demons in this plane that all seemed pissed that we were there. So he summons devils. And Thom freaks out, my friend. The party freaks out, and we book it for the portal because we were like 2 miles to the portal. And all the demons and shit like that like rally and start closing in on us as we're in the middle of this skirmish, if you want to call it that. But it ended up being that I got through, 99% of the party got through, and I turn around to check for Thom, and all I find is one nail, like a claw of this demon. And I got real sad. That was how my buddy Thom ended up dying, because he ended up being technically overpowered and the campaign was coming to an end. Due to my own derailing of the campaign, I ended up basically trapping my party in hell. I guess that concludes this first episode. Hopefully, if this gets decent feedback, I'll try and continue. Might try and continue it anyway, just to see if it gets some traction. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day.